George's dad.
All right, so we have our wine today. We got a late start, but that's okay. We're actually drinking Moscato. It's pretty tasty. I actually paired mine with cheesecake today, so that's a nice little dessert for a rainy day like today.
Absolutely.
The wait list. So I'm gonna start by throwing some numbers out there. That's the episode for today. So I'm gonna start by throwing a number out: 19,221.
Right. That's the amount of people that are on the wait list for different programs in Texas. The free programs that that you're able to sign up for. Now, mind you, you do have to qualify, and like she said in the beginning, there is a wait list. We put George on the wait list
at 3. Mm-hmm. And we talked a little bit about that last week. And so we got the call 5 years in that we would get a packet for services. So I know we talked about that last week, but I want to kind of skip ahead because there's more wait lists. So we talked about getting your child in all those therapies, right? So one of the things that I ran into when I was scheduling things for George is I get my in-network provider, I give him a call. Great, come on in. We can assess George, right?
And so what ended up happening is once we got George the assessment, we found out a couple of things. Number one, there's a wait list, okay, to get these services. Number two, if there's an open time, it's usually working hours. And what we mean by that is between the hours of 8 and let's say 4. And most parents can't get their child in there during those times. I mean, realistically, the average person gets off at around 5.
Right. And they're definitely going to say, bring him in. We can assess him. But the first thing you want to ask is, when we assess him, is there currently a wait list for speech? Is there currently a wait list for occupational therapy? Because what happened to us a couple of times is they right away they could assess him. And we were like, score, we're in, no wait list for us. And then lo and behold, our tail is on a 4-month wait list to get the services that he was initially assessed for.
Another thing that ended up happening to us is after he got the test, we come to find out the insurance would only pay for 1 test or maybe 2 tests within a time frame. So you get tested, and then you end up on a wait list, and you really want to get your child services as soon as possible. It is very important. And so you want to make sure that A, there's no wait list, and B,
prior to the initial assessment, right?
Right. And then once they do get tested, they can get in immediately.
Right. And they will assess you, and what might happen is you might have we had the lab supervisor, right? She was the one who did some of the initial assessments.
Right.
But when it came time for us to drop him off at therapy, this is really important because at this point, he's probably kicking and screaming, I don't know who these strange people are. I don't want to go to this therapy session. And I'm telling him, remember Miss Carla, the one who assessed you? Miss Judy, the one who assessed you? You're going to go see her today.
Right.
Well,
what ended up happening is you go and it's not Miss Carla, it's not Miss Judy, it's Miss Stacy. And you know, with children with autism, they need familiarity.
You said it right.
You know it
right. Yeah.
And they need that repetition and that consistency. And if you don't give them that, then you can end up having a meltdown, which just pushes you further back from the objectives that you want to achieve.
Uh-huh.
Yes, baby.
I haven't ate my cake yet.
Okay, go ahead and eat your cake. So, key takeaways from this conversation is get on the phone with those network providers.
Right.
Do you have a wait list? If they say, well, yeah, we can bring him in and assess him, I know, but once he gets assessed, is there a wait list? And if they say yes, then you go back to your list, the network providers find someone else that's not on the wait list. It could be that several places that you call are on the wait list. Just go ahead and get on one, get assessment with the shortest wait list.
Right.
And what you can do is you can see if you can transfer that evaluation over to another center. So say, for instance, we got smart later on, went to ABA of North Texas. They have behavior therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy in one building. If you can get somewhere like Edge Physical Therapy or something like that where they have it in one building, you definitely want to do that because once you get in on one, you might just happen to be on the wait list for the other. So those are your key takeaways. If there's not a wait list, go ahead, get them in right away, they're going to say, no, it's not a wait list. But you say, aha, what availability does your therapist have at this time?
Right, which is very important because, like I said, most people work and you can't take them at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock when you get off at 5. And these are every week. Oh, another thing, just thinking about that. Once you get in, you want to make sure that your insurance provider will cover for those,
amount of sessions that they recommend.
Yes, because
You're right.
sometimes you only get 20 sessions of occupational therapy, 20 sessions of behavior therapy, and so
Per year.
yes, and that
Yeah.
So,
So
if you're going every week, that's what 4, 8, 12, 16. That's about 4 or 5 months.
exactly, for the year. So that happened to us as well.
Right.
So they were like, oh, we're recommending 2 days a week of 30-minute sessions. And we're like, oh, heck yeah, 2 days a week, we in the dough.
Right.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20. That's 10.
10 weeks.
10 weeks.
And
And
you've
so
done
you're
it for
out.
the
So
year.
you definitely want to look at that fine print in your behavior. It'll be in the behavioral part, health part of your plan.
Or call your insurance provider, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions.
And write down the case number.
A lot of times we're scared to ask questions or we're embarrassed to ask questions. I think the most important thing is to ask questions.
Very good. And one key takeaway, I think, is maybe not key takeaway, but a behavior strategy that I want to talk about this week is preparing your child with exceptional needs to go out in public.
One of the things I did one day, we took George to, I want to say it was Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, and you know that the people are cutting wood and it's very loud, and he did not like that
No,
store.
we're just kidding, Mommy.
Yes, baby,
We're just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watching the video?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so one of the things I did to get him prepared is we watched Home Depot on YouTube or something like that. And we just made sure that he was prepared. And then when I took him, I would take him in and then I would pull him out. And we would go for stretches like that where we would go for a couple minutes, leave, come back, go for a couple minutes, just so he could get used to it. Now he can go at Home Depot, no problem.
Right. Definitely you want to give them, so what happens with kids with exceptional needs, there are the 3 brain states, right? So there's your executive functioning state. Can you refill my wine? Thank you, boo. All right. There's the executive functioning state, your emotional state, and then there is your, I can't think of the last one. So executive, emotional, and I'll get my phone and get the last one. But the executive state is where they're optimally functioning. So they are understanding what you're saying. They're not having a meltdown. They're not flapping. They're not doing what they just did there. In order to get them in that place, you have to prepare them to be in that state. So like George said, when going to Home Depot, we showed George pictures. This is where we're going, a picture of the store. Here's what's in the store. Showing them pictures, just pull them up on Google, and then finally we got advanced and we just started finding videos on YouTube of what it's like to walk through that store. Because what is going to happen is, you're going to start to see the flapping, the covering of the ears. They're going to get upset, and you're not going to know why. And it's because their senses of what somebody described it to me, they're out of whack. So the little bitty things that we can't hear, they can feel the vibrations. So you want to make sure that they're prepared for that. Keep an emergency kit with you, like some Skull Candy headphones, a picture of Home Depot or a picture of the restaurant where you're going with them, and then their most beloved item. Make sure you have it with them. What was one thing that George was like?
String.
So as long as we had rainbow string, we're good.
Yeah.
So what we did was we kept a huge thing of yarn with us, and just that emergency kit. Definitely the headphones. Definitely that.
And his sister.
Oh,
she was very important.
She
She helped us a lot.
Yeah.
She was able to calm him down days when we couldn't. So that's very important.
And I like that you brought that up, because if you have some other children or cousins or something like that are going to be around your child, they need to understand what it is that's going on with your child and what makes them tick. Because at the end of the day, we're teaching inclusion and we're teaching tolerance. And one thing I have to say I'm most proud about Cadence is that she is so tolerant, even in children in middle school.
Right.
So she educates the children at her school about exceptional needs. And so that's the message that we hope to bring to everyone.
Right, absolutely. So we want to thank you for joining us this week. We are about to lay Georgie down. It's a little bit past his bedtime. My oldest child is already asleep and she is preparing for a basketball game tomorrow.
No, not you.
But you're on your way. All right,
Okay.
so thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Y'all have a great week.
Bring your own bottle of wine. Invite a friend.
Right. Share, subscribe, retweet,
All
Facebook, Instagram, the whole nine.
All that. Spread the word.
Thank you for
Love
joining
you
us.
guys. Peace.